Hello, good morning. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. We are back again on another edition of this program where we discuss a lot of things. I mean, review the newspapers and interpret the African proverb for you. So wherever you're watching this program, thank you very much for always willing to tune in and, of course, sending your comments on our social media handles. And on the program, I am with Mr. Mamadou Mbodj as the co-host of this program, and Mr. Adedrame, it's our newspaper review guest for this program today. So, gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, so you people are all rocking your African attire while I'm sitting here wearing my different clothing. Yes, Western.
That's all right. We won't hold it against you.
Yeah. So good morning, gentlemen. Let's start with Mr. Mbodj. How are you?
I'm fine. Just one good morning is enough. and I'm a bit mixed. I've got my cargo pants on.
Yeah,
look at my boots and the African. So you know. A bit of this and a bit of that.
It looks nice. I mean, the combination looks good.
Absolutely.
You know, especially the haftan you're wearing.
Shades
I mean, it makes
blue.
it. Mr. Mbodj, do you know these clothes?
I am a trendsetter.
No,
boy.
but these
know.
These clothes, they look good on you people, honestly. Yeah,
What about on you?
Yeah.
They look good on you.
Well, I don't know except and until if people tell me. But for me, from my own perspective, it looks very good on you people.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Mr. Ade, how are you doing?
I'm very well. I'm very well.
Nice. So, how is the news department?
Yeah, news department. You know,
receiving
usual.
a lot of requests from different people, different entities for coverage.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's one of the biggest challenges. And so when you said how's the news department, that's why I kind of slightly frowned because I really have to make this plea to people, government departments, agencies, NGOs. If you want us to cover your event, date, time and place.
Telephone number.
It's not rocket science. Of course, telephone number is a bonus. But I think date, time and place is more than enough. And you're right. And sometimes, as happened today, for example, they changed the time from 9 to 11. They didn't tell me. I just happened to get a phone call with someone else who told me that the time had been changed from 9 to 11. Otherwise, we would have left for 9 o'clock coverage only to find that it was. So, you know, like date, place and time, simple. And yet, I mean, I say this and people think, what's he talking about? Every day I get 4, 5, 6 pieces of mail that come in where 1, 2, or in one case yesterday, all 3 were missing. There was no date, no place, no time.
Wow.
And yet they were inviting
I've gone through one of your requests the other time, trying to establish connection for this morning.
Right.
But I couldn't find a telephone number on the request.
Yeah, well, a lot of them, even when they do have a telephone number, they tend to put desk line.
Text line.
And then in this country, nobody seems to, either they've lost all the desk telephones or they don't bother to answer them, but you ring and nobody picks up. So I don't even know why they're, I think they just happen to have been there since time immemorial and nobody's bothered to take them off.
You know, some of these
but nobody
lines,
answers
they
them.
come with the letterhead of the company. Maybe some of the ministries.
Well, the ministries. I mean, the ministries all have desk lines that most of them start with the number 4, but they hardly ever get picked up.
But this day and age, we are transitioning to technology. I mean, latest technology innovation. So we are more connected to your mobile phone. In fact, it's important when you have a WhatsApp number, put it on the request.
Yeah, or you put a mobile phone number that somebody will answer, whichever way.
Exactly,
which is important that somebody will answer.
Yeah, it's not just putting the number.
Exactly. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to catch up with you people on this platform. I know before end of this segment, I will learn a lot from you and Mr.
And
Mbodj.
we will learn a lot from you.
Mr. Mbodj,
it's a mutual exchange of ideas, I think. Yeah.
So we'll take a look at the African code. From the code and the newspaper review and 2025 population. World Population Day. We'll be talking to Senior HR Officer, National Population Commission, Secretariat, Fatim Mendy. So we'll be here. Fatima Mendy, rather. So we'll be on the program and we'll be discussing World Population Day 2025. And of course, strengthening research management in tertiary and higher education. James Gomez, Director of Research at the Ministry of Higher Education, would be here and will be talking on that angle. So we'll start with the African code. Like my boss said, I mean, this week's African code is all about happiness and laughter. You know.
Oh, this week as well, because last week was all happiness. Yeah.
Yeah. So this week as well. So what I did was I gathered a code of 20. You know, different proverbs. But these proverbs, they all fall to be happiness and laughter proverbs.
Just coincidentally.
So it's good to, let's chill in the morning. The one who says laughter never run out of friends.
The one who shares laughter.
Never runs out
of friends.
That's an interesting one. And it, to a large extent, is true. Laughter is something that can disarm people pardon me, and make people warm to you, rather than if you're kind of frowning so yeah, I think there's a large element of truth in that, in straight take it as it is. Not there's no kind of no need to dress it up.
It's good that we mentioned the issue of laughter. You know, I watched one of a video this morning as I was coming to work. I was scrolling on my phone, and I saw there is a guy that shares a story about the late former president of Nigeria, Buhari. The guy said, Buhari said to me one day, "Do you know what Nigerians did to me?" And he said, "No, I don't know. These people, they printed marriage invitation cards. And they invited people, and they said it's going to be held at the main mosque of Nigeria. And I, Buhari, am getting married." You know, so he said the following Sunday, they gathered almost 1,000 people at the mosque waiting for Buhari's marriage. He said that's what they did to him. So he didn't even know how that happened. So they invited people on his behalf that he was getting married, and thousands gathered waiting for people to tie the knot. I mean, so he said that's what Nigerians did to him.
He was an interesting character, Buhari. We mentioned him on our news last night because he had about 6 or 7 visits to the Gambia over the years, at least 7.
Especially during the impasse.
No, before.
No, that was
before. Before. I mean, between 1984 and 1994, he'd visited 4 times. So that was before the impasse.
In 1983.
And I was going through this morning. He was overthrown by Babangida.
Yes.
Only 18 months after.
That's
it was
right.
quite short.
Yeah, it was short.
There are presidents that I've seen in Nigeria. I mean, I was going through, I think they got like 16 or 12 presidents. I mean, or 14 during their...
If you add all the military and the
Some
civilians.
served only 3 months. Can you imagine? 3 months, and they toppled you.
That's what happens when you have coup d'etat, you know. 1966, they had 2. You know, so yeah, it happens. I mean, they've had several military leaders, and of course some of them, Obasanjo included, they went on to become civilian presidents.
Obasanjo was
as well,
yes, of course. Yes. Former military leader, and then eventually.
What happened? Obasanjo took power
in a coup.
In a coup?
In a coup, yes, initially, yes. And then eventually, you know, when he left the army, he came back and now considered himself an elder statesman, and he contested as a civilian and won.
Just as Buhari did.
As Buhari did.
Exactly, they're the only 2 really who've done that.
Well, I mean, Nigeria, considering their geographical location and how big Nigeria is, you know, being a country known for being very productive, you know, when it comes to its stand in West Africa. I think the coups affected its democratic process so much. In fact, it leads to its backwardness. Partly.
It's affected it in some way because a lot of it is driven by sort of tribal considerations. So, for example, when Tafawa Balewa was killed, it just happened coincidentally that a lot of the officers involved in that bloody coup were Igbos. And so they started referring to it as the Igbo coup. It wasn't, strictly there were non-Igbos in it, but about 7 of the 10 were Igbos. So people, and then people took revenge.
Incoming. It's like our former president, late Sadauda, also decorated.
He decorated him.
The late president of Nigeria, Buhari.
He gave him the Order of the Grand Commander of the Gambia.
An insignia.
Yes, and draped it over him. That was in 1984. So yes, so he's come, and he was, of course, he was a military ruler at the time. But even then, he came and he signed various protocols about, cooperation between, because of.
That's Buhari there.
That's
young.
With Sadauda. Yeah, quite.
This was the negotiation with the former president.
This was the impasse, and that's him meeting Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Yes.
Nice. Interesting. I mean, we pay our love and respect to Buhari, to the late former president of Nigeria, Buhari, and his family. They are going through a lot at this moment. Losing a statement like that can be very emotional and painful. But we Gambians, I mean, we also know the stance, I mean, that he played when it comes to Yahya Jammeh stepping down and, freeing the seat for our president, Adama Barrow.
I mean, some people say he played a bigger role than Macky Sall. Macky Sall ended up getting a lot of the,
flowers.
Kind of plaudits for it. But, he was the one who he threatened to walk out of the whole process if, things didn't move faster. So he had a significant role to play in that. So he leaves behind a wife, Aisha, she's businesswoman. She has many kind of beauty parlors and spas, and I think 6 children they had. So the Nigerian papers, as you might expect, yesterday and today have been full of stories about him. Contrasting.
And I think it's also important to reflect a bit on what he stood for, that discipline. He knew that corruption was really the key, the issue, the big
He's one of the few who's left office without the stain of corruption following him. And that's quite something in Nigeria, because a lot of them, the temptations are so great.
Well, sometimes when things happen, it will prompt you to dig deeper and deeper. I was going through Nigeria's, presidents, and because of the death of Buhari, I also discovered Omar Yaradua.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He was also a very well-liked, respected statesman, and he died during his presidency in 2010, I think.
There have been several who have been
Goodluck Jonathan
highly respected. Murtala Mohammed, he was assassinated. Main airport is named after him. They sprayed his car with bullets, and the car is kept in a museum now, Mercedes-Benz. And he followed the same route to work. And this is what, when these African presidents block traffic and you have sirens blaring, essentially you're telling everybody where you are. If somebody with ill intent is waiting for you, they don't even have to plan it very well. You take the same route, you use sirens, you block traffic, they know you're going to be coming there. And that's what happened with Murtala Mohammed. He got to a particular junction as they were about to turn. These guys on motorbike just came and they sprayed his car with bullets, killed him, killed the driver. And, that was it. I mean, that was quite a shocking thing in Nigeria at the time, because he was quite well liked, Murtala Mohammed.
Wow, that must be a very bad day for Nigeria.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
So let's move on, Mr. Momodu Mbodj. We can delve into some of the papers on the newspaper, some of the stories. Let's start with the Standard's newspaper. On the main headline of the Standard newspaper, government ought to, not the main headline, but one of the headlines, government ought to regulate mining companies. I mean, there's a call for the government to control mining companies more effectively. And I'm seeing Daniel Juve, Human Rights Commission, on the front newspaper saying this. I was like, okay, what is it doing with regulating mining companies and?
Well, I guess because mining companies, any extractive industries, they can be quite damaging to the environment and to people's lives, and in some cases their livelihoods, can be affected if you let mining companies just run riot. You have mining companies, particularly sand mining companies, because I'm not sure what other types of mining of a significant nature take place here in the Gambia. And a lot of them, if you see some of the environmental damage they do, of course, it impacts people, of course. So, that is something that the Human Rights Commission, of course, ought to be concerned about.
I think it's
and a lot of things, so many issues now are coming within the purview of human rights.
Isn't
it, really?
It's very important. Why do you think, the government needs to regulate them? Why do we have to talk about it now? This should have been done earlier. We know how mining companies operate in this country. When you go to the likes of Kachume, you see some of the things that they have done. They've uprooted a lot of trees, a lot of palm trees. It's just crazy down there.
You say, why now?
Why should they call now?
Any time is a good time. The fact that we didn't do it in the past is no reason why we shouldn't do it now. Because now, for example, people's voices are being raised about it. And of course now, very, very quickly, something like that happens. Somebody can go there, they can take a picture, they can take a video, and it can go viral in a matter of seconds. And so, there's a kind of urgency now that's pushed, particularly by social media and environmental activists. So now is as good a time as any. I see there's an interesting story there. Madi says Barrow's third-term bid is an ethical issue.
Yes, and even that, yes, you have the social media aspect, and then the reports. For instance, here, in fact, the U.S. State Department, you get reports like that from such institutions, has reported that although the government of the Gambia has specified in law or regulation the criteria and procedures for awarding natural resource extraction contracts and licenses, it does not appear to be following them in practice.
So that's
this
why.
Is the quote.
And that's why it needs to be, the government needs to regulate, because like many things, we have them on paper, but you and I know, everybody watching who knows anything about Gambia knows that we're very good at putting stuff on paper, not so good at implementing and regulating.
We don't regulate. I think there should be people that are responsible for regulating this, making sure this thing happened. I listened to the food safety yesterday. They were on this program. I was a bit disappointed when, on some of their comments. When Jennifer asked about wrapping food with papers, newspapers, one of the officers said, okay, it's not very dangerous, according to what he said. He said, okay, it's like when you look at the danger and the risk involved, it's not very, very severe. Imagine you have an ink, and you've given your child to buy bread and mayonnaise from the shop, and there's a stick of mayonnaise here, and your child is licking that ink with the mayonnaise.
They'll probably tell you.
But that's very interesting, though, Ade, because not long ago, some time back, I think they had outlawed that.
Yeah, quite.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was this campaign, wasn't it, going around the shops, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that.
That's
and
right.
suddenly the person, whoever was there, was downplaying that.
Yeah, quite.
That is
No, in Britain, 50 or 60 years ago, you'd go and buy your fish and chips, and they were wrapped in newspaper. And then they thought, no, because as you said, the thing comes off, so you're eating the ink.
You're eating the ink.
The ink they use now is slightly different. It doesn't come off as easily, but nonetheless,
we don't have to take the risk. Yes. So let's take a look at the other headline on Standards. Madi says Barrow third-term bid is an ethical issue. Madi believes that President Barrow trying for third term in office is a matter of ethics or right and wrong.
It depends on which way you look at it. We have a constitution which doesn't say somebody can only serve for 2 terms. And I keep saying this till people will get sick of me saying it. It wasn't term limits that removed Yahya Jammeh. It was people going to the ballot box. So you have the ultimate sanction. That is the public. They vote you out, you're gone. No matter whether there are term limits in the thing or not. there might be 2 term limits, and you might serve 1 term, and you go and contest again and you lose. So, you know, we're getting obsessed with this term limits thing. But you know, the ultimate term limiter is the ballot box. That will do you,
well,
no matter who
for
you
me,
are.
term limits are
as was proven with Jammeh, I keep saying.
Yeah, so Mr. Mboj, I mean, term limits, we talk about it a lot in this country.
Not just in this country, in ECOWAS. Remember, they were trying to impose 2 term limits on countries. You know,
I'm not a fan of term limits. I've said it so many times before. This ethical bit, I'm sort of suspicious of this ethical element in politics, if you know what I mean. I do not know. What is the ethical principle here? That's what I'm trying to find out. What is the ethical principle? I don't know. That's a whole debate.
The whole
I
thing
do not
with term
know
limits
what the
is
ethical
why
principle
2?
is.
Why not 1? Why not 3? You know, why 2? What's the why is 2 the magic number? You know, it's a completely arbitrary thing that people have kind of latched onto and descended upon. 2 term limits. It's a nonsense. There's no logic to it. There's no sense to it, and there's no reasoning behind it. You know, people have just kind of latched onto it. As I said, if 2, then how long before somebody says only 1?
That's it. So for me, this is mainly either legal or political issue.
Yeah, it's not ethical.
Not really an ethical issue at all.
Yeah.
At all.
It's
so
you know,
legally, there's nothing there to stop him. Politically, that's something else.
Museveni is going for his 7th.
And there is a president who is 92 or 93, and he vowed to run Cameroon to run for presidency. Don't you think it's enough?
Cameroon's only had, in 63 years of independence, they've had 2 presidents.
Two presidents. How many years of independence?
63.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yes.
He's been ruling for so long.
Almost 40 years.
Yeah.
He's 92.
He's 92.
He still wants to.
And Museveni, when he wanted to contest, he got Parliament to remove term limits, age limit, I beg your pardon, for the presidency. And he was very clever how he did it. He promised the members of Parliament that if they voted to remove the age limit, as a thank you, he would make the MP's terms 10 years instead of 5. And of course, the MPs loved that idea. So they voted en masse to remove the age limit. And when Museveni tried to bring in the 10-year limit for MPs, the Bar Association of Uganda took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said it was unlawful, and that killed it. So they still have 5 years only. But by then they removed the age limit. The age limit for him. So I mean, he got what he wanted. They didn't get what they wanted.
The politics system that happened in these countries is crazy. I mean,
that's what they call statecraft.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You got to know how to do it.
He probably knew that.
I wanted to tell you that.
Yes.
I just wanted to tell you, look, this guy, he knew, okay, even if they take it, the Supreme Court is going to refuse it.
Reject it.
You know, I definitely wanted to tell you that. So
because people were against it.
Yeah. So Ganu leader slams NPP over increment of election nomination fee. Ganu is strongly criticizing the NPP.
Well, they should criticize the IEC. The NPP doesn't determine those fees. You know, but I guess they probably think that there's been some influence by the NPP to make it so, but unless they bring proof, we don't have the proof that that is what happened.
Well, don't you think increasing the fee for election, for contesting for presidency or National Assembly or councillor, don't you think the fee shouldn't be a fee that anybody can afford? I mean, I said this because during the past presidential election, the nomination, we've seen people coming up with different agenda, you know, people calling Gambians sick, they need vitamin C.
People coming up with no agenda, to be frank.
with bunkum agendas.
Yeah, and I think the point you're making is that if somebody had to put a lot of money down, it might make them think twice before they come to the public with a kind of nonsensical agenda. There's a kind of for and against this, you know, because if you make it too expensive, it means only the rich can contest. Somebody might be poor, but they might have a good policy, and they might be the best presidential candidate. But if you make it so much that their pocket can't afford it, then you're excluding them from the race. So there are things. Yes, it means the ones who are serious enough to be able to get that kind of money, but it shouldn't be about money like it's become in America.
That is precisely my point as well. We shouldn't increase the fees. Who is anybody to decide that all these people these are nonsensical parties or
people vote for them or they don't.
or candidates, that sort of thing? We shouldn't. There's an important principle, really. It shouldn't be a politics for the rich. You know, some plutocratic kind of politics. So anybody, if you understand, you can
Anybody
stand.
can. I mean, we have our law.
And people will vote for you what they want.
You have the right to vote and be voted for. I bet, Mr. Ade, if I contest, I'll get at least 20% of the votes. I know that, you know, at least.
But they're all trembling now.
But here,
and they're hoping you don't
contest. You're not a politician.
Right.
We have seen people who are not politicians. They become presidents.
Don't be like them.
They've become presidents here.
Every other Gambian.
Who said who?
Every other. How many presidents have you had? You've had 3. So who are you talking about? you know, every other Gambian thinks they can fix.
Okay, President Barrow, was it a businessman?
Of course, yes. And Jammeh was a soldier.
President Barrow was a member of a party. President Barrow was a member of a party, UDP. He was actually their treasurer. So he was into politics. He was a politician. That's completely different.
All right. So incoming, we'll stretch our arms to URR. I mean, recently reported by Basse Multimedia. I saw it last night, but I did not understand actually the full story. There is a severe accident. Footballers were coming from Fatoto, I mean, a very known community for those living in the URR, and it was raining heavily. And unfortunately, there was an accident, and according to what I heard, allegedly, almost 4 of their players lost their lives. So we have Fode Mane on the line, and Fode, it's in Basse URR. And a journalist as well. He will take us through. Good morning, Mr. Mane.
Morning.
How are you, my brother? We'll speak fuller on this program. Mbata Mauro, mi wairi masera. When Basse people meet, even on QTV, we speak fuller.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so
this is not a Basse program.
It's a Basse program as far as a Basse man is hosting the program.
Well, let's hope everybody watching will understand fuller.
Yeah, so I mean, for the it's very unfortunate. I mean, the information that we are receiving, I mean, reported by Basse Multimedia, that there is a serious accident that happened or occurred last night in the URR. Can you please take us through?
Yeah, it was a very unfortunate incident that happened yesterday in Basse. Everyone right now is mourning in the Upper River region. It has been very, very unfortunate. This is a football team from Fatoto. They were due to play in Basse yesterday on Monday in the Basse subzone Navetan. As we all know, it is the rainy season, and the rainy season, always local football is back, which we know as the Navetan. So they are playing in this Navetan. They had to play their second group game yesterday. So when they came, it rained heavily here, and the game was cancelled. They were returning back to Fatoto, a community in the Kantora district, a very well-known community, historic community in the Upper River region. On their way returning, around the Waliba Kunda and Saga Kunda area, that's where the accident happened. For the eyewitness that gave account of the incident, said the vehicle did not hit anything. It just lost control because of the heavy rain and that place is a COVID area between those two villages. There is the Waliba and Sojakunda. So around that area, the driver lost control and lost the highway. And that's where the incident happened. So it was very crazy at that point. And then the driver passed away, and with one other fan who was also in the vehicle also passed away upon arriving at the Basse hospital. Several others were also referred to Bansang Hospital, and some were also kept at the Basse hospital to attend to them. But this morning we also confirmed that one of the victims who was taken to Bansang Hospital also passed away this morning at 4 a.m.
Wow.
It was tragic, and now the number of fatalities has increased to 3. 3 has died, and some of the victims also that were referred to Bansang have been further referred to Banjul. 3 of them have been further referred to Banjul this morning, which we can also confirm. So it is very tragic.
So let's talk about how quickly did the emergency service arrive? I mean, when this occurred?
Yeah, according to the account of one of the witnesses that I spoke to at the hospital yesterday night, is that when the incident happened, it was raining, obviously, people were all inside and no one was out. So, luckily an ambulance was coming. So that ambulance, found the incident there, and they were able to at least put some of the victims in the ambulance and refer them straight to Basse Hospital. That's when communication was established among all the ambulance services, and they were able to refer many of the ambulances that were in Basse Hospital to go and pick the rest of the victims, to bring them to the hospital. So when they arrived, a lot of them were in a critical condition, and that they were referred to Bansang Hospital. About 7 to 8, almost 10 were referred to Bansang Hospital.
So, the problem here, Mr. Ade and Mr. Mboj, thank you very much for talking to us on QTV this morning.
And of course, Fode is formerly one of our interns here at QTV.
And he's always willing to talk to us on this program. Yes.
You were about to ask.
The problem is, fine, this is a football game. Sometimes we put our lives at risk. We park our vehicles. Some of them you can see players will be sitting on top of these vehicles.
Oh, I've taken many videos of those. So
sitting on top of these vehicles. I know how sometimes people behave around that end. Look at how this incident unfolded at the end of time, loss of lives.
I think there are many things to get from this. Sometimes people speed, in rainy conditions when you ought to be driving with greater care. Sometimes some of the vehicles, you come upon them and their wipers not working properly when there's heavy rain. What's also quite interesting is that the rain has been heavy enough for the match to be cancelled, and yet if you live in the urban areas, we barely had any rain. 6 weeks, 7 weeks into the rain season. We barely had, the odd drop of rain, yes, but nothing serious, nothing that, for example, would lead to the cancellation of a football match. So it must have been quite heavy, but we don't know the circumstances. We don't know. There are a lot of vehicles on the road that are also unfit. So, you'd have to know everything before you could make a judgment about, what led to this tragic accident. But it's tragic indeed that, football, something that tends to bring people together, joy, and we enjoy watching. I can
remember there was a similar accident that happened during the political ups and downs, preparing for election 2021, when a young boy from Basse End was coming to the greater Banjul area. They were on vehicles celebrating, and I think the vehicle somersaulted, and the small boy died. I think he was around, he was 10, 11, and he died, on that spot. So very unfortunate. We need to be very careful of these things.
But you're right.
Well, how long have we been saying
this is it.
So we have to keep saying it.
No, you have to move. You have to do
action. Something.
Action changes things. It's not about what you say.
Last night, driving home, there was a vehicle behind me, and I didn't even notice there was a vehicle behind me. till he almost hit me. And the reason I didn't notice is because he had no lights. Now, that guy was happily driving along Kairaba Avenue with no lights. He knows he's not going to get stopped. Even though that you get to a traffic light, there are sometimes police. There weren't police there yesterday, but that guy is happily to drive around at 9:45 or whatever it was with no lights on at all. We don't take these things seriously. We come here, we kind of wring our hands, and we bemoan and we mourn people who die in tragic accidents like that. But until we start getting serious about the condition of the vehicles on the road, they are a great contributory factor to why we have. There's no sense and no logic why Gambia should ever have ranked 4th in the world for road traffic accidents. And that's only because of the ones that were recorded. Never mind the ones where you stop and you pay each other. If we did that, we'd be number 1 by a mile. You know?
Yeah.
Every day I would come across an accident on Bertil Harding Highway, and that's just me. You know, let alone everyone else who's driving everywhere else.
Well, a few weeks ago, it's now a month. A young girl. I mean, she attended my naming ceremony of my last child. She was there. On her way to school, a lorry lost control and killed her. She died on the spot. Can you imagine? Very unfortunate. I mean, when they asked, the driver said, according to what they said, the bolt joints, I mean, they are off the car at the end of it. Why can't you maintenance that? Why can't you check that?
Let me give you my example. My car was parked not even on the road. A driver lost control. 19-year-old who didn't have a license.
Wasted your whole time.
Didn't have a license, and his vehicle had no brakes. He hasn't spent a day, other than the night they detained him in jail. That's the only jail time he's done.
So they tell you, okay, there is no law when it comes
and that happened in front of the police.
The Motor Traffic Act, they shouldn't detain the person at some point. These laws
that happened in front of the police, so they were able to apprehend him on the spot, and they took him into custody. But he only spent one night.
Yeah, he will.
The owner of the vehicle came and paid something, and they released him. But I didn't prosecute because my insurance paid for my vehicle. But that guy, he was 19 years old. He was driving one of these pickup trucks that was collecting rubbish from houses, and the vehicle had no brakes and he had no license. That guy should spend years in jail.
Another thing is,
in
it's
a serious country.
When you own a vehicle, you go and insure it. Make sure you insure it with the proper insurance.
Of course.
Otherwise, you will have lost your vehicle.
Of course.
There will be no replacement, Mr. Ade, for you. So that is what it is. Thank you.
As Mboy says, we've been talking about this for the longest time, and we'll keep on talking about it until we start doing stuff.
The Attorney General, Minister of Justice, faces lawmakers on the Jammeh assets. I mean, the solar assets. I mean, yesterday I just watched, I think, 5 minutes of his, encounter with the lawmakers. There is a time he said, regarding the Jammeh Commission, he doesn't know much about it. I watched it and I was like, what? You don't know much about it?
No, it depends. I think people have kind of, including the newspapers, they've kind of taken that out of context.
Yeah.
They asked him a specific question. How could you answer this question? Do you know what the thinking was behind the Constitution? How would I know? And he said, you're talking about human beings and what they were thinking, and you're asking me, did I know how would I know? He's absolutely right. It's a nonsense question. Should not have been asked.
I can cogitate anyway. Nobody can tell me how you cogitate.
What somebody said or what was written
and
down.
That's what he went on to say. He said, if they had written down their reasons and I'm able to find it, I will bring it to you. Perfectly brilliant answer, and that was the right answer. He doesn't know what they were thinking. How could he? He wasn't there.
Probably they were looking at it from the law angle. Maybe lawyers.
No, they were looking at it from a kind of emotional angle. What were they thinking? The reason they asked the question was, they said, why was that not referred to the Inspector General of Police or the Auditor General? I beg your pardon.
I like the way our top government officials, council officials are facing
scrutiny.
Rohi Malik Low faces security over 1.29 million LED lights deal in breach of procurement laws.
Yeah.
I mean, she was also at the commission yesterday, and they asked her questions, and she was answering as well.
She was answering. She was trying to answer. I mean, there have been some quite pointed questions that have revealed as we found out, we've said this time and time again, the way things were run at our local councils, both the kind of municipal and city councils, has not been proper. They've not followed proper procedure, and all of that is being revealed to the public gaze now. What we had suspected is now being brought to light. People just simply ignore proper procedures across the board. She's not the only one. Virtually every council that we have seen investigated, that is what has come to light, and it's been quite shameful, really. And I said not just there.
It seems that virtually every institution that had been investigated by some of these committees always
found wanting.
Consistently financial mismanagement.
There is a message, very interesting message from one of our Nigerian viewers.
Okay.
In connection with Buhari, he sent a message. A seer in Nigeria revealed to us Buhari died since 2017. He said, with some evidence surfacing on the internet those days, but government, they choose to play politics with his lookalike Jibril. Okay? The real Buhari is more older than this shrink fist. That's what he said.
Look, I don't find it funny. I mean, that's been going around since yesterday.
That's funny. I saw that.
I think you showed me one where the guy said, which Buhari is this? The one who died in 2017. Well, what about the Buhari who came to Gambia during the impasse and spoke? That was the double, was it? So yeah, I don't think it's particularly funny. Somebody has died. Let's respect.
I think let's respect. Yes, thank you, Mr. Adedrame. Although the police warn drivers against illegal vehicle modifications and safety violations. I mean, we should have delved into this, but the time has already ended. You are always interested when it comes to traffic rules, vehicle safety, roadworthy.
You know that.
You should be one of the police at the mobile traffic unit. So thank you very much, Mr. Ade, for talking to us.
Thank you.
Now we'll take a short break.
They will corrupt him.
Correct. I'll start standing on the corner taking attire money.
What can you do for me, man? Yeah. So World Population 2025, and we'll be talking to Fatima Mendy, Senior HR Officer, National Population Commission Secretariat. We'll be right back after the break. Be reminded this program is sponsored by Q Money, the only mobile wallet that is reliable in this country. We'll be back.
Q Money and Orange Money has just made money transfer easier. Now you can send money from Gambia to Senegal directly from your Q Money wallet. So what are you waiting for? Get your Q Money account now and start sending money to your friends and families through Orange Money in Senegal now. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Aji Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
backward.
Man, yen sen generation ak ñun suñ generation du benn.
I know.
Ñun suñ generation ñun ñoo leen ëpp advantage.
No.
No, xoolal. No, let's be very honest here. No. I mean, you people, your generation, I think you were struggling a lot with many things. But our generation now, we have a lot of things.
We are also
no,
struggling.
We're not struggling. We have our technology here. We have our internet here. We have everything. The education system is now flexible. Everything is here now.
Don't touch education, please.
So you mean the older generation, they are more tough than the younger generation?
The school we had, the teachers
we have more PhDs than you people. We have more master's degree than you people.
Have you ever been taught by somebody with a master's degree? No, don't even talk about PhDs. We had Dr. Babukar Sar. Can you name one who's teaching at high school? Oh, please, can we go on?
We have Dr. Cisse here.
That's university, not high school.
We have Dr. Cisse here.
University, not high school.
So let's move on. We are going to talk about World Population 2025. Of course, we have Fatim Mendy, Senior HR Officer, National Population Commission Secretariat. Fatim, good morning. Welcome to QTV this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good. So what's happening at your end, the Secretariat? I mean, what's happening? What are you people up to?
At the Secretariat, we recently commemorated the 2025 World Population Day. This is a day that is set aside globally to create awareness on population and development-related issues.
Yes. So let's talk about how important is this celebration, World Population Day 2025?
2025 World Population Day is very, very important and came at a very right time looking at the theme, which is empowering young people to create the families they want in a fair and hopeful world. So it is very, very important. Also looking at our demographics, where most of the people under the age of 35, I mean the youthful population, is like 77% of the population is under that age. So this year's celebration is very, very important looking at that theme.
Well, what's this year's theme?
The theme is empowering young people to create the families they want in a fair and hopeful world.
I said.
Yes.
How are we doing that?
At the Secretariat and with partners, we are doing a lot. Our partners, one of them is the UNFPA, and we know they are the Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency of the UN in terms of advocacy and in terms of the provision of contraceptives and medical equipment. We are doing a lot in terms of empowering young people.
Any activities in marking World Population Day? What activities are you
Like
doing?
I said, it's already celebrated on Friday, July 11th, and we had a lot of activities. Like I said, World Population Day is celebrated annually. So based on the theme, that is how the mode of celebration is dictated. So this time, since the theme is centered around youth's empowerment, we engage youths across all the regions, from KM to Basse. Each region we had 10 youths gathered, and mobilization was done with the help of the National Youth Council and our population field officers who are across the regions. So they mobilized these youths, and they had a consultation looking around areas around the theme. What do they actually want for government to do for them? Because many a times it's said the youths are the future leaders, but they are also the present. You don't plan for the future when the present is not being taken care of. So they had this consultation in all the regions, and they brought up some action points, which was consolidated at the level of the office, and that paper was read by one of the youth reps during the commemoration. So during the commemoration as well, we had a march past, which was led by the police band from the Tropic Shopping Mall at Senegambia to the OIC Center. His Excellency, the Vice President, was in attendance, and he also launched the State of World Population Report. Also, prior to the 11th, we had some media engagements. The UNFPA country representative, the Director of National Population Commission Secretariat, and the Program Manager the Reproductive, Maternal, Child and Adolescent Health unit of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Musa Marina, were here on QTV to talk about the event. The Deputy Director as well was also at GRTS to talk about the event. So there are a whole lot of activities that were done to mark the celebration.
Exactly. So what's the estimated world population in 2025?
As of 2025, the global population was estimated at over 8.1 billion people.
Okay.
And this was from the UN estimations.
It's increasing.
Yes, it's increasing.
So what are these factors that leads to the increment of population? You know, the main factors, because there was a time it was 7-point-something billion, you know, the last time I checked, and now it's 8 something. I mean, what are some of these factors?
The factors can be high birth rate. If the birth rate is high, that can contribute to high population growth. Yes.
Absolutely. And improved medicine, isn't it?
Of course,
that was very
is
important.
another factor.
That's it. So I'm just curious about the Gambia. Let's reduce this to the Gambia. The population trends, what's emerging?
Currently in the Gambia, according to the recently concluded Population and Housing Census that was held in 2024, we've seen that our population is around 2.4 million people. It has also increased from the previous census, yes, but other indicators are seen to be like declining, yes, like the maternal mortality has declined. So some of these trends are seen to be going in a positive way.
And the birth rate is?
The birth rate too has also declined. In 2013, it used to be 4.4 children per woman. Sorry, 5.6 children per woman, and in 2019-2020 DHS is 4.4 children per woman. Yeah.
So the growth of, I mean, the world population, how does this affect, I mean, us globally? I mean, when the population is growing, I mean, what are some of the disadvantages?
Yes, population growth comes with some disadvantages. As population grows, that means there's more demand for everything. There's going to be strain on the healthcare, on education, on employment, a whole lot of things. So when population grows, it has some negative impact on the population. Yeah.
And how does this impact the environment as well? I mean, there can be a disadvantage when population grow. I mean, there can be demand for a lot of things. I mean, survival, everybody scramble for survival. Exactly. But in another way, it's an advantage as well, because it will create opportunities, it will create businesses. There will be an interconnection between countries, and business will flow as well.
Exactly. So the effect is both a positive and a negative. If you invest rightly on the population, you're going to have a very productive labor force. But if you fail to invest on this population, then it's going to be the negative, where we have the scrambling you're talking about, and a whole lot of things. Yeah.
That's it. But I would love to know, though, the National Population Commission Secretariat, what exactly is your mandate?
That's a very good question. In fact, I should have started by telling you what our office is and what we do as an office. So the National Population Commission Secretariat is the national authority that is mandated by government to monitor, evaluate, and implement the population policy in the Gambia. We are under the office of the Vice President, and the Vice President is the chair of the National Population Commission. And our director is the secretary to that chair. So our role is to coordinate all population-related issues in the Gambia with partners. That's what we do.
All right. Sort of, can you just touch on some of the key elements of our population policy for us to get an idea of what we want to do or what we are doing, as it were?
Currently, we are reviewing our policy. And in that policy, what we're trying to do is to make sure that everyone in the Gambia, especially the young people, have a good quality of life. That is one of our mandates, to ensure that all Gambians have a very good quality of life. Yes.
Okay. So,
what a difficult one. How are we going to do that?
That's it. That was good.
And population issues are cross-cutting. The Secretariat alone cannot do it, and even government alone cannot do it. So it involves a whole lot of partners, and that is why if you look at the population program, we are the coordinating authority, as I said, and we have a lot of partners that are implementing in the program. The Ministry of Health is a part of it. The National Youth Council is a part of it, and also some NGOs. They are also part of the implementation of this population program. So it's a concerted effort. We are talking about the human being here. When we say population, we're talking about the human being here. So you have the health aspect, the economic aspect, even agriculture. So a whole lot of partners come into play to make sure we improve the quality of life of our people.
So family planning, how does it come in play in controlling our population?
Family planning empowers people, especially couples, to decide on the number and the spacing of their children. Okay. And this will help to reduce unintended pregnancies, because many a times when you chat with your fellow women, they tell you, birafma beta, I never planned for this one. So with family planning, it helps you to space and decide on the number, and this will help to manage the population, and which is also in line with.
So what do you encourage? You encourage to manage the population, or I mean, I am a bit confused. What are you people advocating for? Do we have to control the population, or do we have to do another thing?
The advocacy here is not for us to control the population. We are not saying we should control the population. What we are saying is, as a couple, if you bring children into this world, you should be able to cater for their needs. You should be able to make sure that their needs in terms of education, in terms of shelter, you should give them that quality of life. It's not about the number, but the quality of life that you give to these children that you bring up in this world. Yeah. Exactly,
quality of life, Mr. Momodumboj. We need to control the way we give birth according to the Secretariat. So I don't know.
Absolutely. You cannot bring children here and then you don't take care of them. You don't give them at least the minimum, as it were, in terms of quality of life. And yes, each couple, well, it will depend on your circumstances. Decide according to your circumstances. I think it's a very good thing. You know, you call it controlling the population.
Wow, controlling the population.
At some point we need to.
Yeah, so finally, what do you have to tell our viewers, before we close this segment?
Like I said, during the commemoration of the World Population Day, the advocacy should not stop only on the 11th of July. It should continue. We should endeavor to educate ourselves in the reproductive health, because it's the core. We should be able to support gender equality, to support youth empowerment, because in so doing, we should be able to ensure that the youths, which form the bulk of the population, their policies, their aspirations should reflect what the policies are saying. So to my viewers, I am saying happy belated World Population Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, Fatima Mendy, on QTV this morning. We hope to engage your office again.
Sure, you.
But it was a good one, and you pulled it. Thank you very much for coming, and you're always willing, to do this with us.
Thank you.
Yes. So, viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll talk to James Gomez, Director of Research, Ministry of Higher Education. We'll be back.
Q Money ak Orange Money ñoo lëkkaloo pour yombalal leen yónnee xaalis bàyyi ko Gambia dem ba Sénégal ak Q Money wallet looy toog di xaar dawal léegi nga ubbi Q Money account pour nga mun a door di yónnee xaalis sa xarit ak sa mbokk yi jaarale ko Orange Money Sénégal léegi pour am si lu leer mun nga call Q Money customer care si 133 Q Money suñu kalpe lii dafa ànd ak sarta yuñ tëral Q Money e Orange Money joni weɓini nuldugol mbuɗi mi yetoma joni hiɗa wawi nuldude mbuɗi iwra ko Gambia ɗo yaha Sénégal e Q Money wallet ma on eyyi ko honno wonɗa e fadde mi yetoma udduto Q Money account ma on joni fuɗɗoɗa nuldude mbuɗi e teriɓe ma rewa ɗon ka Orange Money nder Sénégal fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi hiɗa wawi noddude Q Money customer care e 133 Q Money suñu kalpe ɗum no yaadi e sartaji.
Hi there, my name is Nuruddin Adams, a proud product of this noble institution. Heritage Christian University is not just a learning place, but a community that transforms lives and empowers its students to become compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. My journey here has truly been life-changing, and I invite you to come experience the same. Whether your passion is into business, nursing, midwifery, psychology, communication studies, multimedia technology, information technology, or theology and ministry, Heritage has tailored these programs for both the undergraduate and graduate studies to suit your goal. If you're ever ready to take your education to the next level, then pick up an application form and join us today. At Heritage, you are never alone, as members of the community will stand and work with you every step of the way. Welcome to Heritage Christian University.
You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Thank you very much for, staying with us throughout this program. And I hope you are enjoying and also learning from this program. Now let's move on to the last segment of this program, and we have the Director of Research, Ministry of Higher Education, Mr. James Gomez, and we'll be talking about strengthening research management in tertiary and higher education. Yeah, so Mr. Gomez, it's good to have you on QTV this morning. Butakala?
No, this time is Bufa.
Bufa, I don't know.
Bufa.
Okay, Butakala is different from Bufa.
Is good evening.
Bufa means?
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, yes. Bufa. So what should you reply?
Bulong.
Bulong, okay, nice. Yeah, so it's good to have you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gomez. I think this is our second engagement.
My third time.
This is the third time.
Yes.
Yeah, so please, let's talk about this significant topic, research and strengthening research management in tertiary education. Please take us through this.
Thank you very much for inviting me once again to come and discuss on the topical issues that we are presently running at the ministry, research management in the Gambia or tertiary and higher education institution. Of late, I've just launched in the research management capacity building project that is sponsored by UNESCO NATCOM. We put up this proposal and now sell it to them, and they saw the need to support it. And thank God that they've responded. And we had our first training, which is the research management. Is in twofold. The first training is research management, and the other one will be researcher development training. The research management training that was held last week has to do with our institution, our tertiary and higher education institutions. Because looking at our policy pronouncement, the policy pronouncement had it that we have to promote research and making sure that research culture is very kind of alive in our institutions. We saw the need for it because when you look at our institutions, there is no at all a research support office or research management office. Although we have consultancy units, research and consultancy unit within our institutions like USET, University of the Gambia, and Civil Service University. They have this, and even the UEG, University of Education, they have research consultancy unit. But it's important to know that a research consultancy unit does the research. A researcher and a research manager, they are different people altogether. A research manager, specialized in managing the IPs or the professors. from the call of proposal up to even the close out of the proposal. In other words, a research manager specialized in contracts management, specialized in budgeting and costing, specialized in IP. They guide the professors in doing research. Okay. They know donors' criteria. Wellcome Trust is different from Gate Foundation. It's different from UKRI. So a research manager specialized know which form is an IP fields. In other words, a research manager, you know, in the present, for a research manager, the research manager in institutions reduce the workload of the professor. And that's why we saw the need for the institutions, because we are talking about they have to establish a research support office within the institution. Whatever name they call it, some people call it research management office, others call it research support office. But even though they might maintain their consultancy unit, but they should be specialized, you know, 2 or 3 people within the institution that guides the professors. That's the reason for building this.
So what are your top priorities?
Our priority now is to implement the policy pronouncement. Where if you look at our research policy pronouncement, it has this promotion of the culture of research within our institution. So for the culture of research to be promoted, we need to put structures in place. And I came here last time, I told you that we are working on establishing the National Research Development Innovation Council. Before the council, because presently we are working on the cabinet paper for it to be tabled. But before the council is institutionalized or come into, we want to prepare the institutions so that they will be ready, you know, to respond to the council's SOPs. Because I know when the council come into me, they will start asking about those structures and the capacities involved. The training is not enough. That training that we organizing, for me, I call it a teaser, just for them to understand that the areas that I talk about, you know, compliance, donor, you know, criteria, understanding budget and costing, IP. Those are just teaser for 3 days training. It's not enough. We are hoping that you know, we will also presently have developed another proposal that I will sell for it to be scaled up to another level.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is the idea to have a research management team, you know, in each of these institutions?
Yes.
Okay. So what have been the hurdles, you know, in establishing this research management? Because the way you said it, they're just so important, absolutely enable us to research itself. Isn't it? They create the conditions, as it were, for the scientists to do their research. They try to get the funding and all sorts of things. So what has been the hard hurdles, as it were, in establishing these teams, this research management team?
Yeah, the hurdle could be numerous. You know, when institutions are, you know, operational, they at certain point they get used to certain systems in place. So the hurdle here is at times leaving out those old way of doing things can be a hurdle. Like, you know, we have now graduated for a professor to sit at a corner and develop a proposal and sell it to the donors. It's important to know that donors don't even listen to professors now. Donors deal directly with research managers. So if you write a proposal and you want to sell it out to Wellcome Trust will not work with you. They will ask for a specialized person who knows their criteria, because every donor has its own criteria. So if you say the hurdle is leaving the past and now come and work with the research manager who guides you through.
That's it. And needless to ask, really, when you look at the current research, how would you assess current research output, as it were, in tertiary education is perhaps virtually non-existent?
Yes, that is why, you know, we said we want to encourage the institution to embark on a translational research, where research can no more gather dust. Research has to be an outcome that impact the society. Research has to be to respond or to speak to economic, to speak to social, and even speak to our developmental needs. Gone are days where, you know, you publish for publish sake. And that is why it's a challenge. Our intellectuals would stick on to publish or perish syndrome. And that is, public or perish syndrome is a competitive stage. We are now telling the research managers to guide them so that they do research with the pretext of having that kind of impact research. So whatever research that you design, it has to, the research manager within your institution will guide you so that, you know, you'll have that structured way to impact. You don't just publish for publish sake. So research manager guides the professors in the development of the proposal.
So how do we ensure ethical standard and consistency in our research projects?
Yes. I think this question was asked last time, and I told you that we have this we are hoping to have this council. And if you look at the council, the structure of the council, there would be kind of a CEO or an executive director. And within the council, there is constitutes committees. There would be a National Research Ethics Committee within the council. There will be a scientific committee within the council. So it's going to be a big council. And the council will have operational tools that all our research institutions in the country will have to adhere to the operational procedures. In other words, yes, not all research proposal will be taken to the council for clearance. No, there can be also within institutional research committees, which is a pronouncement of the policy. So the council, the ethics committee that we're talking about will be guided because there will be IREX within the institutions, institutional ethics committee.
Listen, I take it you're collaborating with international institutions to build your capacity, isn't it?
Yes, and that is why in our present training that was held at the ministry, the institution doing that is WARIMA, West Africa Research Innovation Association, Management Association. If you know WARIMA, they are excellent in terms of research management. WARIMA emanates from the RIMAS. You heard about the SARIMA, South Africa Research Management Association. And when we conceived this idea, I had to, because I thank God I benefited from their training 2 or 3 occasions in Senegal, in Sianta Diop University and RSF. So I benefited from their training, 3 trainings, and I came back. I work with them now to see how our structures is internationalized, now benchmarking them to international standards. So we are careful of all those international standards because WARIMA is international, it's West Africa.
Okay. That's it. So from now on, you've had this training and there are other activities going on. What should we sort of expect to see?
Yes.
From now on.
Thank you. From this training is research management training that was held. The other one that will take place also on the 21st, 22nd, and the 23rd. That one is going to be on researcher development. It's going to be led by Professor Asanjay and his team. Researcher development is more technical done this. So the reason why we just want to give them a teaser is like we've trained the research support office or research managers, and then we are going to bring in professors, clinicals or postdoctorate. They are going to interface with Professor Hassan J on researcher development. That is going to be more technical. And at the end of that training, there is a token that we want to also put up a kind of a proposal competition among them.
To appreciate them.
Yes, out of the 21 participants that we had in mind. So we're going to Professor J is going to put them into a kind of test, and they will submit their proposal. And these proposals, we also have 2 professors at MRC who offered to review those proposals.
Okay.
So when they review it, they are going to tell us the first best, the second best, and the third best. So after that, we intend to organize a research conference day, one day. That day, there will be an opportunity for those winners to present to the public their findings. And then out of that, there will be judges. Then they will now announce, out of these, we will say this one is the best proposal. And then we will award prize, you know. And I think for this one, it's just a start for people to know that, you know, the Ministry of Higher Education is serious about research promotion.
So Mr. Gomez, at the end of the time, I mean, what will this research benefit our country as far as the national blueprint is concerned?
Research is meant to answer problems. That's why I say research does not gather. You don't do research to gather dust.
Because for people like me,
yes,
you talked about research, you talked about a lot of things, but for me, I'm like, okay, what is research going to do for me at the end?
That's what I'm saying. It's not.
So
what I'm saying
I want to understand.
That's what I'm saying. Research is not is meant to answer problems. That's why I talk about research responding, speaking to our economies. Okay. Research speaking to our developmental need. Research speaking to our social needs. So when researchers are active doing research, because you heard about what Boch said, we observe that there is a kind of low research, taking place in the Gambia, apart from the MRC that is helping us in the ranking. In the absence of MRC, very few research documents studies are done. So your answer is, your question now, to answer your question now is, we want to see, translational research going on. The research that will speak to our problems. The research that will respond to our issues. The research, the skills of how to communicate this research also to our people is also part of the training that we organize. Because you can have a research findings there, but if you don't know how to communicate that research finding to the public, it will just be there gathering dust. So research answers our problems.
Yeah, so
we have so many problems.
Mr. Mboj, anything before we close this segment?
Yes, with research you have research to industry, that's one, and you have research to policy.
Okay.
Obviously. But again, this is the key, isn't it? With research, nothing is guaranteed. That is why you need lots of money. You may throw out money. Absolutely, nothing is really guaranteed, isn't it? You're trying to find out, or sometimes you go along one line, try to find out about one thing, then you discover something else, isn't it? That element of surprise. So that is why in a poor country such as ours, I do not know, maybe we'll be reluctant to spend in an area where nothing is really guaranteed, given the pressing problems that we face, isn't it? Research's got a tough competition, hasn't it?
Yes. It's true, research is expensive. But just like what our president of Warima normally say, there is fun out there. That's why we are bringing this researcher development, to be able to write a convincing proposal and get resources. Study also tells us that countries that invest more on research are a force to be reckoned with. In West Africa, there is, in fact, in Africa, there is kind of a pronouncement that every country must put aside 1% of their GDP to research, R&D. But when you look at our regions, I think apart from South Africa, there is no country that's ready to invest in research.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you very much, Mr. Gomez. Mendy, rather.
Gomez.
Oh, Gomez.
I'm
okay.
Gomez, yes.
I'm seeing Fatih.
No, we had the Mendy
and Gomez, yes. So that's Mr. Gomez. Thank you very much. Keep researching, Mr. Gomez. And I believe time will come, we will get to where we want to be. I mean, it's unfortunate that the only research center we have here is MRC that is helping to rank us worldwide. Without MRC, we are zero then. You know, we hope people will get used to it and there will be a lot of engagements. Thank you very much.
And MRC is not even ours.
We're
just hosting it. We're just hosting it. It's not even ours.
Yes, okay. It's not even ours. Yeah, so thank you very much, Mr. Gomez.
Thank you.
Yes. So viewers, this is all we have for today's edition of QTV This Morning. We'll be back here tomorrow again for another interesting episode. Until then, enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.